Hi, thanks for joining me. So today I want to talk about anime that I've watched. I haven't done a video like this in a long time. I've been watching a lot of anime, like I said, and I picked up some anime too. This is going to be maybe kind of part way a pickups video and part way just me talking about stuff I've been watching. So yeah, let's start with that. I picked up Blame, or Blam as it is written in katakana. This is a short, an anime short. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes long. It's comprised of, I forget how many, maybe like 4 or 6 little, like, shorter shorts. And it's based on a manga, one that was serialized in Afternoon, which is an interesting anthology that's published in Japan. If you're familiar with stuff like Shonen Jump, that's a like shonen is sort of a boy, so that's really aimed at kids. This anthology that comes out however often, weekly or monthly. I think there might be multiple versions of it. Afternoon, I think, is a monthly, and it features artists like Kosuke Fujishima. Oh My Goddess is serialized. I think it just finished up in Afternoon. Kenichi Sonoda has been published in it. A lot of different people. But there does tend to be, it's more of a what's called a seinen anthology. So it's kind of aimed at more like teenagers and young adults. So it tends to be, I think, a little more science fiction-y, just a little I don't know, like, it mixes it up a little bit, and I think it has, some more kind of interesting stuff in it. This is Nihei Tsutomu's manga that was featured in it, and I think his stuff is still serialized in it. I have not kept up with what he's been doing, but he's still doing manga. There's a new one. I'm not going to remember the name of it, but I will go ahead and put it up here for you guys. This had such a huge impact on me back in the day. I don't know if you guys watch Classic Game Room. Mark did a video recently where he was talking about the manga. He draws manga. I was really into drawing manga at the time that this came out, which was quite a while ago now. And this guy's artwork is so unique. He does these big, like, cybernetic, sprawling sort of architectural spaces, and he just made up this protagonist that goes through them. He's like looking for some sort of like original genetic code. It's almost like people have sort of mutated so far beyond kind of their original form that he's searching for, I don't know, some sort of like proto human or something like that. And it's just tremendously interesting. Like I said, this unfortunately is just one short that it just kind of gives you a taste of what this would be like if it were animated. And it's a little disappointing in that respect because, nothing else was ever made from it. If you bought this expecting to, get some sort of like complete story, you were going to be really disappointed. The only way in which this is really interesting is if you, were a fan of the manga and read it and kind of understood that this is just like a little one-off to... I'm wondering if they were thinking of turning this into a longer series and it just didn't get any traction. However, that is, it's pretty amazing that it was ever released here, and I was glad to pick it up. Definitely worth checking out. I'm sure you guys could probably just watch it on YouTube or something if you're interested. Such an interesting art style and story. It's really, really cool. I even have, I think when I went to Japan one time, I picked up a action figure of the main character, Killy. So I couldn't dig it out of my closet, but I'll put an image up here so you guys can see it. Next up, also, they were just having like a, I don't know, buy one, get one free sale, something like that. So I picked up, just a couple things here. Alien 9 is the next one I grabbed. This was at FYE. It's so interesting about this because I've seen it and I've been considering picking it up. But if you take a look here, this looks like a sports anime. These girls wearing like inline skates and lacrosse sticks and stuff. I thought this was a sports anime. It is so not a sports anime. This almost reminds me of a kind of a proto Madoka Magica kind of thing. It really it features like these three girls who looks kind of, like sort of a cheerful, happy, I don't think they're sixth graders or something like that. And this is dark. It's a dark, weird, interesting, like psychological drama for the most part. It feels very kind of post-Evangelion. And sometimes that's a bad thing. I don't really think Eva did much good for the anime industry aside from just being itself, which is good. But anybody else, I think, that sort of took a cue from Eva, I think, had a really hard time sort of living up to that. This, though, I think it is interesting. It really is, and it was definitely not what I was expecting. Basically, it's showing this. Kind of future society where we've made contact with aliens. So you can see here these girls actually have these aliens on their heads, and they're these weird, like, sort of parasitic, like, symbiotic aliens that basically feed off of the girls, and then they help them to fight other aliens that will just kind of randomly show up at the school. And it's very weird. It's I think something. It feels kind of unique to Japanese schools, although I don't know. I mean, maybe I just forget when I was a kid. I don't think we ever had to clean the classrooms or that sort of thing. But it seems like in Japan there's a real spirit of having the students kind of take on a really active role in doing things around the school that you might expect like people to be hired to do here in the U.S. So. I kind of think in that vein, these girls are kind of picked out of their class to be assigned to the alien team or something like that, and they go around and like fight these other aliens. Even that sounds kind of like innocent enough, but it just it does get weird and dark and intriguing, and I think it suffers from one thing that a lot of anime suffer from that are based on manga, where it seemed like the manga was probably new at the time. They basically covered the first like 6 volumes, and it does leave you a little unsatisfied. It does kind of just leave off in the middle, and you're like, well, what happens now? And you just have to go read the manga. But I think this was so intriguing that I would highly recommend if you have any interest in this, especially if you see it cheaply or whatever, pick this up and watch it, because it was not what I was expecting. It was a lot better, a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. I also grabbed another old classic here, Devil Hunter Yoko. This, I think, is much more just silly, like kind of an action show. It's been so long I don't remember much about it, but you can see here, she's like a demon hunter. There's like martial arts, and she probably casts some spells. Probably sort of like a little bit more of a little bit of a darker kind of magical girl almost type of a thing. But I seem to remember this being just fun. So this is actually the second volume of like a complete collection. So I think this was probably only maybe 6 or 8 OAVs ever originally. So the first volume I have coming, it was cheap. I just bought it off half.com. So looking forward to revisiting that again soon. And something else that I didn't watch yet, although I have seen it before, this is the Jinrei special. I believe it is Jinrei and not Ginrei. This is a character from Giant Robo. And Giant Robo is something that pretty much all of my friends back in the day liked more than I did. I don't know why. I didn't really have anything against it. It just it didn't really grab me like so much of the other stuff that I was watching at the time. But this is a character that kind of got her own little like spin-off OAV, and I was like, it was cheap, and I just figured it might be fun to watch it again and see, if it sort of rekindled an interest in Giant Robo for me, so I picked that up. Also, Ranma 1/2, Volume 6, so exciting. I'm really happy to be able to be collecting this. As far as I know, there's probably only one more volume of this. I'm hoping, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe they'll do an additional one after that collects the OAVs and the movies, which would be really cool. But I have no idea. I don't know if they're planning to do that. But this came in the mail today. It's still sealed. I know I will enjoy watching this, and I can't wait to have all of Ranma 1/2. I'm making good on you know, a desire to acquire that I was never able to fulfill in the past. Yeah, so I think now I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff I've been watching on Crunchyroll. And I guess I'm just going to go sort of in reverse chronological order. So let's see, some of the stuff I've been watching most recently. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you've definitely noticed me tweeting about, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? I don't know that I was expecting to like this in particular. I wasn't expecting to dislike it, but I think I did notice like the pictures of Hestia popping up on Twitter and various places, you know, previous to my watching the show, and I was kind of like, you know, yeah, whatever, the fan art character of the day. But you know, I also didn't really like Sword Art Online, but I liked the premise. So I was hopeful that maybe this would take that premise and not give me characters that I hated, like that other series. And that's exactly what it did. I love the characters in this, and I just think it's super fun. It's cheesy in the way that it's so harem anime. You know, the main character has like this gallery of girls that all just fall head over heels in love with him for no appreciable reason other than that he's cute and humble and like a nice guy. You know, which is kind of fun in and of itself. You know, and I don't want to get really deep and start talking about, I've been thinking a little bit about some of the themes in some of these anime in relation to certain reading I've been doing on, anyway, you know, just I think, you know, ways of, you know, sort of different personality types, like interacting in relationships and things like that. I think some of these shows that I gravitate towards actually, they don't necessarily promote, like, I think characters that would probably, you know, sort of naturally have really healthy romantic relationships. So anyway, not really where I was planning to go with that. This show is hysterically funny. I somehow, I don't know what it is, I love Hestia's character. I think that her voice actress is channeling Megumi Hayashibara's performance of Lena Inverse from Slayers so much. Now Hestia, and I mean that's another thing that I guess some of the characters in the show, it does have this feeling of these kind of like really traditional gender roles thing too, which, you know, I'm not going to say that bothers me or anything like that, but I do sort of notice it now when it's like the main character, he's really trying to be like the man, and it's kind of providing a lot of the motivation for him, where his first encounter in the dungeon is he's saved by this girl, and he falls like head over heels in love with her, and he wants to get stronger so that he can get noticed by her, basically. And it's kind of cute in that regard, and it's fun. I like the series. You know, he is a nice guy, and you know, things kind of happen over and over that are you know, just related to him. You know, just sort of standing up for what he believes in and for other people, and that kind of like wins him like friends, and you know, and he has this drive to achieve, and you know, it all kind of it flows very nicely in this very interesting world where it's kind of like a real world Dungeons and Dragons. You know, these gods come down to earth and they sort of forfeit their power in order to be able to live amongst humans, and the one thing that they can do for them is essentially like level them up like Dungeons and Dragons characters, so that they can fight in a dungeon that spawns monsters in real life. It's utterly ridiculous, but somehow I feel like they portray it in kind of a you know, a semi-realistic, interesting way. It's a good show. I definitely recommend it, and I've really been enjoying it. Next up, Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. And this is one of those ones that I think, like a lot of series, they start off almost better and with more potential than it seems like they follow through with. But not to say that you know, I've been disappointed with the series really at all. It's been a lot of fun. It's not what you would think, which is like some sort of like harem-y fan service-y thing, although, maybe it's going to go that route. I'm not really sure. But basically this character finds out that he's able to kiss other characters and switch bodies with them. It feels very much like Kokoro Connect at the beginning. That had a similar premise, although I don't think there was kissing involved. But as things progress, just from the title, you find out that there are 7 witches, and they kind of have different powers, and it's been interesting so far, just in that it's kind of a romantic comedy, kind of a I don't know what else. I guess it's a romantic comedy so far, but it's been good. I've enjoyed it quite a bit, so I would recommend checking that out as well. Let's see. So this anime season, honestly, I wasn't sure what to make of it at first. What I was missing, and I think we've had such good seasons a few times where I'm like, where is Sakura Trick? I loved that show. Where is the slice of life stuff like Love Lab and Non Non Biori and what was that? Yuru Yuri, and just a lot of this stuff. Like I was eating up, and this season it just seemed like dry. Like all of a sudden I'm like, there's no shows like that. So I felt like I had to branch out a little bit, and I did find some things that I think are extremely entertaining. So I don't feel ill-used, but I do miss, I do want some more engaged the unidentified, or some of that stuff, which I was really enjoying watching. But anyway, so to make up for that, I did start watching another sports anime. There are a few running, and I liked Kuroko's basketball so much, I did start watching that again, and it's really enjoyable. It was starting to get a little bit dark, and I miss the lightheartedness. I miss jokes in it, stuff like that. When it just gets really drama intense, and I think it starts to miss a little bit something, but I guess, that's kind of the appeal of a sports anime, I think. So maybe that's par for the course. Definitely been enjoying Kuroko's basketball still, and I started watching Ace of Diamond, which is a baseball anime, and that is total. I mean, it just sucked me in. It's already had 2 seasons, and the first season was way long. It was I don't know, 40-something episode season or something like that, so I think it's up to episode 60-something. I watched them all in I don't know what. Not all that many days. It was fun to watch, without a doubt, and it's good. I've been really enjoying it. I don't watch baseball. It's just, I realize that you can get into the characters, and you can get into their their personal struggles, and just, I guess it is a drama, and I've really been enjoying that. So that's been fun. Let's see, other kind of standout stuff. So I started watching Food Wars, which is a lot of fun as well. It reminds me of taking the general premise of, let's say, Initial D, where you have a character who is kind of indirectly trained by their parent to be a master at what they're doing, almost unbeknownst to the character themselves. In the case of Initial D, it was driving. In this case, it's cooking, and this character basically just cooked at his father's restaurant every day, helped out when he was a kid, and he wants nothing more than to take over the family restaurant and just be the head chef. And basically, within the confines of the first episode, his father is like, okay, you know what, I'm going to go on a trip, and I want you to go to this culinary school and learn to cook, because that's the only way that you're going to be as good as me and beat me, because he wants to, be better than his father. He's like, because I went there, and, I'm better than everybody else there, so, you gotta do that. So he goes to this school, and of course it's all of these, important people from all of these, culinary restaurant running families and you know, big people in the food industry and all this stuff. And it's really interesting to just sort of see how it plays out, where he really is this amazing cook, but you know, it's cool. It's fun. Again, you kind of have that drama. It's almost like Iron Chef, too. They actually set up like some of the things like these Iron Chef style battles. It's cool. The first episode, though, and possibly additional episodes, have this ridiculous element where I almost wasn't sure if I was even going to watch the series. I mean, like, normally I would just think this thing is funny, which it is, but I'm just like, oh man, is this just about fan service and ridiculousness? Because these characters have like the most gratuitous like food orgasm when eating the character's food. Like it's just so over the top. They take the top and they tear it off, and they, like, you know, just go way beyond that. I guess if you're into that, then, you know, you'll enjoy that. And then you know, you might even be disappointed, because I think the rest of the series, they don't go overboard with that kind of thing. But it was one of those things that almost turned me off to the series a little bit, strangely enough. But it's actually it's kind of I guess just another aspect of the series where you almost expect to have like the characters like try this character's food and just have their reactions be completely over the top. So so that's something else to look forward to about it, I guess. But it's a really interesting show that I've been enjoying too. So anyway, I have more stuff I could talk about. The video's getting a little bit long though, so I think I'll cut it short here. Suffice to say, I'm really enjoying watching, you know, anime as usual, and I hope this was interesting for you guys. Let me know what you guys are watching. You know, do you have any recommendations? Do you have any questions for me? You know, if you want recommendations for stuff to watch, one of my friends just asked me the same thing. He's like, you know, I haven't been watching anime for a few years. Like, what you know, what kind of stuff should I watch? And I was like, I can hook you up. He wanted to see let's see, fan servicey like comedies. So I gave him some recommendations. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll be doing some video game videos here, and, you know, maybe some more stuff about my my upcoming online store and getting my business going. So anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.